Amy, let me tell you about a magical place that is so exactly designed to be enclosed space, year-round fun for the whole family that I bet you already know what I'm going to say before I even say the name. Let's say it together on 3. 1, 2, 3. Great Wolf Lodge. You got it, Amy.
My kids loved Great Wolf Lodge when we went. You probably already know that it has a huge indoor water park with a wave pool, lazy river, a bunch of massive water slides. But then your pack can hit the other attractions because, wait, there's more.
Great Wolf Lodge has adventure-packed attractions like Magi Quest, a live-action game kids can play throughout the lodge, plus the Northern Lights Arcade. Spent some quality time there, so your kid who loves the lazy river and your kid who loves fantasy games will both have a great time.
Great Wolf Lodge also offers great dining options and complimentary daily events like nightly dance parties, all under one roof. Unpack the car once and you're settled in to have fun. And with 22 lodges across the country, you're always a short drive away from adventure.
We've both had such great times at Great Wolf Lodge, so bring your pack together at a lodge near you. Learn more at greatwolf.com and strengthen the pack. So are we doomed?
What fresh hell?
Laughing in the face of motherhood.
It's going to be pretty different around here.
With Margaret Abels
and Amy Wilson.
It's really, really hard. Really hard.
A podcast that solves today's parenting dilemmas
so you don't have to.
When your husband runs the vacuum, tell him how hot that is.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to What Fresh Hell. This is Margaret.
And this is Amy, and today we are wondering, is the pandemic harder on moms?
Yes, it is. And guys, that's a short episode this week, but thanks for listening. Follow us on Twitter.
I went to Instagram. I put this up on our Instagram page. We're on Instagram at What Fresh Hellcast. And I said, is the pandemic harder on moms in our story? And it was 90-10. 90% said, yes, it is.
Who are the 10% of people who are following our Instagram and also think it's not harder on moms?
Yeah, the trolls.
I feel that's a strange Venn diagram.
Those were just bots that voting no.
No, I mean, I guess I can see it. I have thoughts on this that are possibly slightly controversial, but set us up and then we'll lead in.
Well, this topic was suggested, as so many of our topics are, by one of our listeners in our Facebook group, which is also at What Fresh Hellcast. Sarah got this topic going and there was a huge response. And I'm like, oh, great. This is a great episode idea. So can I read you what Sarah said?
Please do.
She says she's in South Carolina. Things aren't going great here. Schools are open 1 or 2 days a week based on community spread. My coworker was just telling me about a rodeo he went to on Saturday. I'm so frustrated that we have football, not just NFL, but little kids, soccer, rodeos happening, but kids can't go to school every day. And then I realized, guess who the vast majority is playing football, going to rodeos, watching sports, and making money off these things? Men. Guess who has to quit their job, modify their hours, or step back from a big promotion, or work all night weekend so that they can teach their kids at home? Women. This is a sexist pandemic, said Sarah.
Oh, Sarah did not come to play with that post.
No. I mean, I think that's one angle. There are many other angles, but I thought, okay, I kind of get what she's saying. Some of the priorities around what we need to open first are certainly skewed, not in favor of our kids being in school.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is, and I have heard people say a lot, the economy, nothing can run until kids are in school. And that's true, but that hasn't really worked out. And so, I mean, I don't think Sarah is implying it. I don't think it's true that like somewhere, like at a smoke-filled room, like people were like tapping their fingers together like Mr. Burns and being like, let's get the moms. Like that's not, it wasn't planned to, be sexist in that way. But as it has shaken out, the schools not being open, speaking in broad strokes, is a mom problem.
Yes, I have a study for you. So the Syracuse University Lerner Center of Public Health did a study of adults during this time. Over 80% of adults who aren't working right now because they have to care for somebody who's at home because they're not usually, are women. 4 out of 5 people who have stopped their usual work schedule are women. And so this study concluded that our not only our current earnings potential, but our future earnings potential. Our career paths are being disproportionately sidelined by caregiving during COVID-19.
Right. And so you're saying 4 out of 5, right?
Yeah.
For the people who are listening and like hashtag not all men, hashtag I'm having this problem too. Like, right. It's not 100%, but it's the burden of it falls on women.
Right. Because, so another Sarah on our Facebook group was talking about the pay gap. This is true in my house. I think it's true in your house too. You tell me that the man in the household is making more money than the woman in the household.
For now.
You know, we're talking here, many of these studies are about 2-parent heterosexual households. So if that's not your household, please don't think that Margaret and I make the assumption that that's what a family is or should be. We get that there are all kinds of families and all kinds of people listening. But this problem is most uniquely laid out in a 2-parent household with 1 male earner and 1 female earner.
Yeah, and I think for the purposes of our discussion, right, you can basically replace mom, woman, with primary home caregiver, right? Isn't that what we're talking about?
Yes, but the statistics show that that person is
female.
Almost always the female. Right now, in a 2-female household, 1 is the earner and 1 is the primary caregiver. I get that. But right, if the choice has to be made, it is usually the woman right now who steps back because we do make, what is it, 83 cents on the dollar? Like, we're already a little bit behind. So if one of us has to cut back on our work hours right now, it's going to be the woman. And then that just is a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yup. So are we doomed? Is that what we are? Now we're 5 minutes in. We're like, sorry, guys, doomed. Okay.
Talk to you next week.
Follow us on Twitter. Talk to you next week.
Gosh, this is a short episode.
And scene.
I always like to start with, like, here's why it's a problem and here are the parameters of the problem, because whether it's do kids whine too much or is this a sexist pandemic, I think first we have to be like, is this something we're supposed to be upset about, or is this in our heads, or is this something is this a story we're telling ourselves that this is harder on us, or is it a thing? It's a thing.
It's not. No. Yeah. I mean, we know that it's a thing and it's a problem, but let's talk a little bit about like examples of how this is a big problem.
Layla, she's a teacher who listens to our show, and she pointed out again, this will be obvious to 100% of us listening, but let's just say Layla's saying she has proof. She's watching her young students learning at home. She has 19 kids in her class. 18 kids have a female parent sitting with them, emailing her, making the learning happen. Only 1 out of the 19 kids has a dad in that role.
Right. And this is the problem, is the amount of bandwidth that our homes are taking has become exponential and nothing else has changed, kind of.
Right.
I mean, I think the problem is, yes. I mean, Amy and I have had to completely adjust the way that we work, because I now have 2 days a week where I have kids at home who I am homeschooling. And that is 7 hours of my day. And that's a big change in my life and because my husband is the quote unquote real breadwinner of our family, I let him work pretty much. And even my husband's very involved and like he's doing a lot of it, and it's changed his life as well. But for a lot of people, it's like back to work you go, everybody. And I did at some point sit down with my husband, and it was very early on where he, about 2 weeks in, where he was like, okay, he works at home. So he's always been like going downstairs at 9:00, coming up at 6, what's for dinner? And he's like, okay, see you later. And I was like, whoa, slow your roll. Like it is not my job to have your company think the pandemic is not happening. Like I'm not signing up for that. Like you've got to be able to say, listen, I can do this meeting. I can fill out this form, whatever. That's a hilarious version of what my husband does. But I also have to be more available to my family during the hours of 9 and 3 because my kids are homeschooling and I need to be part of that. But not everybody has my husband is, he's with a company that he's not quite self-employed, but he's high enough up in the company that he has the ability to say that. A lot of people's husbands are working at jobs where it's like, we don't care. You want to keep your job, come to work and do your job.
Right. They don't think it's cute that the kid is walking by in the background or the dog's barking or there are some people for whom that's not an option. So my husband runs a small team of people and they're all working from home right now. And he has been making his omelets and even sometimes washing out his omelet pan.
I like how you brought the omelets in, even though it's not germane to the conversation.
Well, they are germane to the conversation because this is the problem. He's home every day. He used to get an omelet at the deli on the corner on the way to work, right? Now, every morning it's in my kitchen.
No, that omelet pan is really part of your life now.
That omelet pan is there. But he's making the omelet and sometimes even cleaning the omelet, while he's on an internal call. He's not going to do that while he's pitching, the business, but he's going to, unload the dishwasher or whatever while he's talking to the people he works with. And, sometimes I think he wants too many gold stars for that. But on the other hand, if you are in a position, any person who has employees under them who can be in the position of let's loosen this up a little bit, guys. Sometimes we're going to unload the dishwasher and as long as we're on the call paying attention, it's okay. I think that's great if you can be a boss or have a boss who does that, but not everybody does.
Not everybody does. And and another thing is Layla's talking about being a teacher. All the teachers I know are back to teaching. They're teaching full time. My kids in New York go 2 days a week, but the teachers teach 5 days a week because they have to set up, 5 days worth of curriculum because there's asynchronous learning or whatever the heck. And so they are in the position where they're supposed to be at school teaching all day and they're having to hire somebody to come and be with their kids to do the mom job of sit there with them.
Yes.
And they're teachers. It's they don't have wild amounts of disposable income to pay somebody full time to be at their house teaching their kids. It's really, really hard. Really hard.
Yeah. I can think of more than one teacher I know who has had to step back on their own hours, teach differently or step back from some additional jobs that they had taken on at the school, to do less because they happen to have kids at home that they have to homeschool in the middle of all this. It's crazy.
It's crazy, Amy.
It's been a little crazy. Can I give you another sort of existing problem, why this is hard?
Sure. I'm not depressed enough. Please, Amy, give me more problems.
I want to underline, here's why it's a problem, right? So one's the existing pay gap. And so we were the ones who were supposed to step back anyway if somebody has to step back. And
we've talked about this way out of the context of the pandemic, right? Which is whenever there's somebody, if the kid's sick at home, who stays home with them?
Right.
Often it's the mom. I do think this is changing to some degree because I now know many more couples where the wife is earning more than the husband. And sometimes it's a little bit more flexible. But generally, it's okay, mom, step back and handle the stuff that goes wrong because your husband has an important business trip.
It's so ingrained. So yesterday, my daughter was home yesterday, sick, and was on the couch, and I was upstairs, hiding in her bedroom trying to get... Actually, I was researching this episode for today, and she texted me from where she was on the couch downstairs to say, can you help me make an acai bowl? Am I such a latte limousine New Yorker right now that she wants an acai bowl for lunch?
I don't even know what that means.
Well, it's kind of like a smoothie. It's basically we had them frozen. It's like a frozen yummy smoothie thing, and then you put cut up fruit and granola on it, and, it's yummy. It's like a smoothie in a bowl.
You guys are fancy.
She wants an acai bowl.
My kids are still on peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, but okay, you do you.
So I'm sitting, it's basically I feel like it's sort of ice cream for lunch that is, I'm fooling myself as, it's like the peanut M&Ms are a healthy snack thing and acai bowl is a healthy lunch.
I got it. I like it.
Anyway, she texts me, can I help her with it? And I say, okay, sure, stop what I'm doing, go downstairs to find out that my husband has been in the room with her. I mean, he's on a work call, but he's sitting there. You know what I mean? She could have scrawled on a piece of paper, can I have an acai bowl, and held it up. But her ingrained assumption is if I need something,
mom helps me.
Mom's going to get it, even if dad is in the room with me. And that's kind of also his assumption. And it's kind of also my assumption, right? My first reaction wasn't isn't dad downstairs with you? I was okay.
Yeah.
Let me put this away and go do it.
Well, my version of that is that this week, my husband has always worked at home and has always been very involved. He does the entire morning routine. I do nothing in the morning. He gets all the kids up, dressed, and gets them out to school because I do not function well in the mornings. And he does a ton around the house. I mean, he works really, really hard. But about 12 days ago, maybe 10 days ago, I because I am an Goldilocks, was walking and fell down and sprained my ankle really, really badly. I was sure I broke it. Texted Amy to be like, I broke my ankle. I'm heading to the hospital.
You heard an audible, this is a worthy sidebar, you heard an audible sound, right? That you were like, that's my femur snapping?
It was so loud. I thought I might have like broken my femur. It made such a loud sound. Okay, turn away if you're squeamish, but like...
I'm laughing because it's okay.
Yeah. I kept saying to the doctor, I was like, no, I heard it break. And he's like, no, you just heard it like come way out of the socket and snap back in. That's what makes that loud cracking sound. But anyway, I mean, my ankle is like swollen 2 times its size and black. Like it's really yucky. It's a bad, bad sprain. I couldn't put any weight on it for a couple of days. So I'm crutching around the house. And as you know, on crutches, like you can't lift anything. I'm useless, basically. And my husband is doing twice as much work and doing everything. But I was just crutching into my little studio to record. And I realized like the house is a disaster. You know what I mean? Like there's stuff everywhere. The kitchen is overflowing in dishes.
Right.
There's 14. I asked my husband to run laundry, which he did this weekend, but like didn't get folded. So it's like piles of laundry everywhere. And it's been 8 days. Like this is what happens when one of the cogs in the machine stops working for 8 days.
Right.
And within that, I was still able to do all the homeschooling, you know, stay on top of them about taking their showers. Like I was doing probably 50% of my tasks.
But you're not doing like the whirling dervish, like counter to room to this to, right? You're not doing that.
Yeah, I'm not doing the constant hum of like, must clean up that, tuck them, put them by the door, and then I will do then, you know. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. The like never leave a room without something in your hand to go into a room that's in the room where it doesn't belong. Like I'm just always that. I'm always tidying as I move through my life. And when you stop, you notice it right away.
Oh, you sure do. Come look at my house, Amy. You will notice it.
I have a study that directly relates to that, and I'm going to tell you about it when we come back. For some of us, tax season is one of the only times that we look at our finances fully, and once it's over, well, that was terrible, and it is completely understandable not to want to think about it for another whole year. But using Monarch and being intentional with your finances in an ongoing way helps you see where your money is going and how you can put your refund to best use.
We are here to tell you, simplify your finances with Monarch. Monarch is the all-in-one personal finance tool designed to make your life easier. It brings your entire financial life, budgeting, accounts and investments, net worth, and future planning together in one dashboard on your phone or laptop.
Feel aware and in control of your finances this tax season and get 50% off your Monarch subscription with code FRESH.
As you know, my husband and I are preparing to send, 3 kids off to college, and I cannot tell you how helpful Monarch has been in showing us our full financial picture, helping us to track our spending and reach important savings milestones. Our weekly meeting, Amy, it's now run by Monarch.
Love it. Achieve your financial goals for good with Monarch, the all-in-one tool that makes money management simple.
Use code FRESH at monarch.com for half off your first year. That's 50% off at monarch.com, code FRESH.
You're listening to this podcast, so I know you've got a curious mind. Here's a helpful fact you may not know yet. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save over $900 on average. Pop over to Progressive.com, answer some questions, and you'll get a quick quote with discounts that are easy to come by. In fact, 99% of their auto customers earn at least one discount. Visit Progressive.com and see if you can enjoy a little cash back. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $946 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2024 and May 2025. Potential savings will vary.
Okay, are you ready for my study about messy houses? I know you are.
I mean, I'm living in that study right now. I cannot imagine you're going to tell me something I don't know. And yet I am, I will say I'm available for your study without being excited for your study. Will you accept that answer?
Yes, because I think it's very interesting. Like where was I? I forget where I was, that I was sort of like not available for most of a weekend day recently. And my house looked like a tornado blew through it. I'm like, do you guys see? I'm the only one who puts a shoe in the shoe basket or puts closes the door. And this is what this study showed. So this study is pre-pandemic. It's from Sociological Methods and Research. I know you subscribe.
Oh, yeah. No, I've already read this study, Amy. I got my issue last week, so don't worry about it.
They wanted to see. So the question they had, because of something like this, when you're like, does nobody else pick up? Do women perceive mess differently than men do? Do women see it differently, have a different threshold for it? Are we wired differently, and that's why we pick the stuff up and everybody else just leaves it on the floor?
Okay. I'm interested in this because I'm generally very messy, so I would like to know.
Right. Well, yeah, that's right. And there are messy women, messy men, whatever. So they had this, they want to know if people had different standards, but also different expectations around doing the work of cleaning it up. So they had, a couple hundred people, men and women. They were shown pictures of a relatively clean or a really pretty messy room. And they were told that it was either John's room or Jennifer's room. They were told that it belonged to either a man or a woman, and they were very neutral spaces, so it could go either way. And then once they were told, like, look at this picture, this is John's room. How clean is this room on a scale of 1 to 100? How messy is this room? So sorry, it was like clean was 1. The lower the score, the cleaner it was. The higher the score, the messier it was.
Okay.
And then they asked them, how important is it that this room get cleaned up in this picture? And who's going to clean it up in the picture? So the study found that women and men do not perceive mess differently, that our numbers for how messy or clean a room is are the same. People would look at the room the same, but we would both say if it was a woman's room, that the room was way messier than if it was a man's room. So the same picture, if it was John's room, it was 50 points, and if it was Jennifer's room, it was 80 points. It was a messier room if it belonged to a woman.
What the heck am I learning from this study? I don't understand.
They could both see that it was messy and that it needed to be cleaned up, but it was a messier room if it was a woman's room than a man's room, because a woman is more responsible for mess than a man is.
I see it. The perception is that the woman's room should be cleaner.
Exactly. And that a messy room is way messier if it's a woman's room than if it's a man's room. And then they were asked, who's going to clean up this room? And if it was Jennifer's room, they'd say, Jennifer's going to clean it. And if it was John's messy room, they would say, yeah, his wife's going to clean it. He'll get a cleaning person to come in and clean it.
God knows John's not doing it.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And this is also, and we've talked about this in the Invisible Workload episode and a lot of times, and this is like such a marital fight, and it's such a marital fight for a reason, which is when my husband forgets birthdays of his family members, who does that reflect badly on, Amy?
You. Right. I mean, you shouldn't, but it does.
Right. When people stop by and my house is a mess, no matter how much I have contributed to that mess, who does that reflect badly on?
Right. You, but
me.
But your beliefs that is true, which it is true, are contributing to the perpetuation of us doing more of the cleaning up, right? Because you are internalizing like, what will people think of me if they come over and this room looks like this? That our husbands, that men do kind of not, they don't
have that gene.
Internalize the messy house as being representative of them because nobody would ever think that it was.
Right. But that's not fixable, right? Like that's not a variable.
It's genders playing into it. They're beliefs, but there is no, well, we just see mess differently than men. Like take that off the plate. We're not just better at it.
He can see the wrappers. He just steps over them to torture me. Is that why?
That's right. The conclusion of the study was that men and women can perceive equally what needs to be done, but they're just fine ignoring it.
I mean, I'm fine. I'm messy, and my husband is medium messy. I'm messier than him. And so we tend towards a level of medium to extreme mess, I would say, is our baseline. But the mess gives me agita, and I don't like chaos and mess. And so I break much easier than he does. Even if no one's coming over, I just am like, I can't live like this. And I clean. And I would not even dare to try to find my husband's breaking point where he would utter the phrase, I can't live like this. Because like people would be dead. It would be an episode of Hoarders before he would utter that phrase.
Yes, right. Right. Something would fall on you. The cat would be under the bookcase.
Yeah. Oh no, we would be crushed by debris before he would ever say, I can't live like this anymore.
Yep.
He's like, yeah, it's all right.
And there's another thing that plays into this. So we're much more likely to do the work of keeping the house clean because it bothers us sooner because we think the world is going to judge us sooner. But we are also much less likely to be rewarded. Like we've definitely talked about on this podcast, and you see it all the time. Like when your husband, runs the vacuum, tell him how hot that is or whatever. Like,
oh God. No, thank you.
I can think of one time that my husband was like, aren't you going to thank me for loading the dishwasher? I'm like, aren't you going to thank me for that like 11 million times I loaded the
Aren't you going to feel sad when I go to prison for murdering you with this omelet pan?
No, I'm not going to thank you. That's what an adult does around here. But, generally the world.
We should do an episode that is things our moms used to say that we now find ourselves saying, although it probably wouldn't last the entire episode. But my mother shrieking, "We don't have a maid," is like such a part of my childhood memories. And now I say it like 400 times a day. As the kids like walk by with Capri Sun straw wrappers and like toss them into the air as if like the magical elves will come and shunt them away into the garbage pail.
It's just cockroaches and Capri Sun wrappers. They're going to be left at the end.
I know, at the end of time. Yeah, I think probably the solution is to never buy Capri Sun again, but hopefully they don't want to sponsor this podcast.
Hopefully not.
But yeah, it's definitely the thing of like, I am just like the like angry Irish washerwoman, like following everyone around and shrieking at them with like a baking pin roller.
Do you know what Darcy, one of our listeners, calls it? Rage cleaning. And I'm like, oh, yes, I feel seen, Darcy. She says that's the way she deals with this, her always messy house. She says, I binge podcasts while I rage clean because nobody ever leaves my damn house. So my workload has doubled.
Hi, Darcy. You're probably rage cleaning right now while you leave.
Yep.
We see you, Darcy.
Her workload is doubled. And the worst part, she says, is when other people she knows say that they are bored. Like anybody who says they're bored right now deserves like a punch in the nose.
Well, that our pandemic rule is, I don't know if I've said this on the podcast before, when anyone says they're bored, I find them something to clean. That's the rule in our house.
But what if your friend was like, oh, I was so bored, I like started playing the guitar. Would you give her some dishes?
No, it's not her problem. She didn't make the mess. That's not her problem.
I'm not going to yell at her, but I will rage clean later.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people who keep very clean houses, and we're not those people. I don't even rage clean. I will say one thing I have come around to during the pandemic, and it has been game changing. Everybody cleans.
Yes.
And so there's a lot of like, nothing happens in this house until this room is clean. And I was at a point before the pandemic where the constant whining and slow walking of the cleanup was enough to break me. And I would just kind of be like, forget it. I'll just do it while they're at school. Those days are done. They clean themselves. I mean, screens are a great motivator. Like we have 2 screen times a day and no screens until it's clean. Screens when it's clean. That's our rule. You love a rhyming rule, Amy, and I've got one for you.
It is remarkable. Screens when it's clean. I love it. It is remarkable, like when you have family dinner, it's like, okay, everybody, no, I don't. It's much easier when school isn't happening. My high schoolers are like, they have like 11 hours of work a night. I'm like, yeah, we're all going to clean up after dinner. And they moan and complain. But if 5 people clean up after dinner, it takes 5 or 10 minutes. And when one person cleans up after dinner, it's an hour.
Yeah. Oh, yes, indeed. And it's also just practical right now because we were talking about on another episode and like great suggestions, guys, for how to organize our houses around homeschooling because remote learning.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's also just now my living room table is a classroom. And so there's pencils and papers and binders. There are 3 laptops in my house that are plugged in different. I mean, the amount of mess is not sustainable for me to clean up. And now that I am down to 1 leg, it's much worse. And so I have definitely solved that by being like, I'm sorry. And I will say my husband works really hard around the house. There are days where he does much, much more than I do. And so it's kind of like Dad and I are maxed out. We are working as hard as we know how to work and the house still isn't clean. I guess you 3 need to get involved.
It's because there is objectively more mess, more to clean up. There's just more of it because we're all home all the time. But I do think the differing perceptions can come into play. I had a discussion with my spouse about doing more around, mealtime, everything, right? The meal shopping, planning this, which we've gotten systems around and they definitely help. But I was sort of like, I need you to step it up. And he said, like, I really can't, I can't handle being responsible for 50% of the meal stuff. And I was like, 50%? Like, I'm asking for 20. I'm asking you to take it from 10% to 20%. Like the thing that we're responsible for has gotten so much larger. And so even if your spouse who does a lot less, like they are doing more than they usually do, for sure. He took it from 0 to 20%. But he's like, I'm not going to do 50%. I'm like, no, how about 23%? That would be great.
That would be a statistically vast improvement.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, my husband for sure does 50% in our house, which is unusual. But we also have a very specific lifestyle in which we both work from home, and he keeps kind of California hours. So he's pretty free in the morning. We have a very good division of labor, and he works harder than I do, honestly. I'm the problem, as I always say when we talk about these things. Like, he could have a podcast where he's like, could you just go to 50%? And I'll be like, I'll give you 23. That's all I've got. Like, we're in the reverse marriage, basically.
You're the monster.
I am the monster. But the one thing I will say is it's seeing the mess. That's the problem. It's seeing the problems, you know?
Yes.
And I mean, my husband never, ever, he does the shopping because I don't like to interact with humans. So he goes to the grocery store, but he would never sit down, make a meal plan and be like, let's do this night. You know, he doesn't think 2 steps ahead. He takes direction well. That's what I will say. And then he works so hard, but it's a different, there's still that invisible workload of like, when are we doing this? When are we doing this? When are we doing, you know, the thought process 4 steps out is always me.
The invisible workload has gotten so much larger during the pandemic, right? And one possible silver lining of all this would be that the spouse who doesn't do the invisible work and doesn't even know that there is invisible work is seeing a little more of it. Just like your kid is in the background of your Zoom call a lot more and you can't pretend that you aren't a parent and a lawyer. Might it also be that some of this invisible work is becoming visible to the people in our house?
Yes, it might be.
It might be. There was a study that actually looked at that. So Washington University, there's a sociologist named Caitlin Collins who wondered this. So many people were working from home, and this might be a silver lining. So she wanted to study, can we see that the invisible workload is becoming more visible to men and would therefore spur more equal participation? And the answer was no. They see it, then they don't care. They know the house is messy, and they just are better at ignoring it, and that the increased demands have indeed just fallen on women more.
All right. Downer of an ending for our second half. Downer of an ending.
There's a reason. So let's talk about the reasoning behind that when we get back.
At DSW, we ask the important questions, like, what shoes are you going to wear? Whether you're prepping for wedding season, festival season, or just planning the ultimate vacay, the right shoes can make or break an RSVP. So own the moment. You've got big plans, and we've got just the shoes. At the perfect price, of course. Get ready to get ready with Designer Shoe Warehouse. Head to your DSW store or DSW.com today and let us surprise you.
My favorite skincare products actually feel more like self-care, like they're so nice to put on and they smell so good that I'm actually happy when I get to that part of my day. And I swear that is how I feel about Osea's anti-aging body balm.
Amy, you are usually the lotions and potions queen on this podcast, but I have to say, hard agree.
Osea's anti-aging body balm is a liquid silk body balm that combines the lasting hydration of a lotion with the firming power of a serum, leaving skin smoother and firmer.
This body balm is clinically tested and designed to deliver visible results you can see and feel.
So we've gotten to use this product for a couple of months now, and I swear I have really noticed firmer and smoother skin, like on the back of my hands. It's like getting a mini spa treatment from head to toe.
Get a spring-worthy glow with clean, clinically tested skincare from Osea. And right now, we have a special discount just for our listeners.
Get 10% off your first order site-wide with code FRESH at OseaMalibu.com.
That's 10% off your first order with code FRESH at OSEAMalibu.com. And now, your guide to learned helplessness.
From the What Fresh Help podcast.
My husband at work.
Our quarterly differentials are up by 0.97. That's short of our hard goal of 1.24. So with a 0.45 restructure by next acquisition period, we should make up 1/6 of our dividend with a margin of error of 0.46.
My husband at home.
Honey, couldn't figure out how to fit the egg pan in the dishwasher, so I'm just going to let it soak. My 7th grader at school.
In a school, 50% of the students are younger than 10. 1/20th are 10 years old, and 1/10 are older than 10 but younger than 12. The remaining 20 students are 12 years or older. How many students are 10 years old? Easy. That's 10 students.
My 7th grader at home.
Set the oven to 400 degrees? What does that even mean? Can't you just do it? My husband watching football.
This guy right here, Johnson, he was drafted by Kansas and ran for 1,123 yards his first season after redshooting for 2 years. When he transferred to Notre Dame, he rushed 2640 over 2 years before getting drafted by the Bears April 23rd. The kid's already had 752 yards this season.
My husband on our anniversary.
Oh, honey, listen, I'm sorry. I forgot it was today. You know I'm not good with numbers. My son turning on a video game.
Come on, Mom. You just changed the HDMI cable from the Axle 2 slot to the high def input on the left, and then you select input. Okay, then grab the remote and hit high def. Ugh, Mom, not high def 1, high def 2, and then you hit transfer input, and that switches it over to the digital stream. Come on.
My son in the laundry room.
Select water temperature? I can't do this. My husband while driving.
It's easy. You take the 84 to the 62 interchange, then stay in the left lane to exit over the bridge. But listen, if you see it back up on Broadway from the overpass, then you get right and take 16 West instead.
My husband looking for the mustard that is in the cabinet right in front of his face.
Wait, where is it? In the front, by the spices? What? Honey, come here. I can't find it.
This has been your guide to learned helplessness.
From the What Fresh Hell podcast.
All right, Amy, what is the reason? And the reason is you. I don't know why that just came to me.
They found, it was yet another study. They studied people during the pandemic, couples with kids under 13 at home from between February and April.
I want to know who's agreeing to be studied during the pandemic. Like, I would like to peek behind that curtain.
Oh, it's me. I'd be there with like a frying pan in the doorway. Like, go ahead. Ask him how often he cleans this. I want to know.
I just cannot imagine being like, you know what I'd like during this time? Someone studying my behavior.
Someone studying you.
No, that would not be happening.
So they found that mothers reduced their work hours during the pandemic 4 to 5 times more than dads. As the at-home work increased, the moms just scaled back their work hours to meet it. So they were like, oh, no. So no, the invisible work is just, there's more of it, and it's just being done more by moms. And so they said in the study that they don't think, this is a quote, we don't think that it's that fathers are trying to skirt their labor. It's not out of malice. It's the cumulative effect of a lot of small interactions.
But this is what I said in the beginning, right? About like, there is no Mr. Burns being like, hey, we will design a system. Like,
that's right.
It's just fallback positions that are negative.
Right.
Or that have negative consequences.
Right. And they just happen in little ways, like my daughter texting me to help her get lunch when my husband was in the same room with her, and all of us just assuming that's how it goes. As I was researching an episode literally about this, right? It just shows you how ingrained.
Isn't it ironic?
Yeah.
I'm just going to sing. I'm just going to punctuate your points with bad songs from the 90s for the rest of this episode.
Don't you think?
Yeah, it's not great, Amy. It's not great.
No, but I think that we have to fight back, I think, against the sort of learned helplessness.
With omelet pans?
Yes.
Are you calling for revolution, like a Handmaid's Tale style revolution?
Revolution!
Take up arms, ladies.
My revolution with the omelet pan has just been, now that he needs it, every day, it's just like, just leave it in the sink. Right. Like, because I don't eat. Have I underlined that there have been omelets made for 180 days now in my house, and I don't like eggs and I don't eat omelets. And so I just decided after a while that there just was no reason for me to clean the pan, because I don't care if it's clean for tomorrow morning. I don't eat omelets.
Yes. I believe you have made your position on the omelet pan over the course of 176 episodes very clear.
Extremely clear, but it's still there. It's still often there, but I can make it not my problem.
I like it. That's all you can do. Make it not your problem.
But the learned helplessness that our family members can, well, I don't know where the stapler lives, that kind of thing, is we have some ownership in that.
This is, I think, the key. And this is something that you used a phrase that has transformed my life, Amy. I don't know, a couple of episodes back, you used the phrase yo-yo dinner.
Yes.
Never heard of it before.
Yep.
Guess what I've announced twice since then?
Yo-yo dinner.
It's yo-yo dinner. And my kids are 11, 9, and 8, right? They're not grown folk. But they can get mac and cheese out, heat it up in the microwave, and eat it. They don't eat a vegetable with yo-yo dinner. They don't take time. My daughter is obsessed with carrots. She'll always eat carrots. But my 11-year-old, he turned 12 last week. He's now a 12-year-old. Happy birthday to him.
Oh, my gosh.
He likes pizza rolls. I mean, could there be anything? I'm like, if you're 12 and you can't make pizza rolls, you deserve to starve. I'm sorry. That's how it's going to go.
Right. Then I have failed. Right.
And so the oven for the pizza rolls, guys, if you don't know this, some people eat acai bowls. Is that what it's called?
Acai bowls.
Acai bowls. We're just rolling with sausage and pepperoni pizza rolls over here. But you take out a pan, you line it with parchment paper because they tend to explode. Whatever the chemical mass is inside of a pizza roll, it's not stable under hot temperatures, so it tends to just explode in different directions. So line the thing, put it to 400, put it in the oven, wait 10 minutes, take it out of the oven. Now, I will say our whole house is built crazily, so there's not enough room on either side of the oven to get close to the oven. You have to really reach over the whole door to grab stuff out, which my child is afraid of, which I kind of understand. Do you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you can sneak around the side of the oven door to get something that you need to grab out. But because of the way our kitchen is built, you have to really reach all the way into the oven over the door. So he's scared of that part because it could burn him. Because as we already mentioned, the oven's at 425. So I have made the deal. He has to do all parts of the pizza roll, and then I will come grab them out of the oven because he's scared of burning himself, which he's not wrong.
Right. And that'll go away. Once he gets used to putting it in, then yeah.
And it's a tallness factor, too. He's 5 feet tall now, but you need the long arm to do the reach over the door. So I'm fine with it. I don't want you to burn yourself.
Yeah. And guess what? My daughter can make an acai bowl by herself, too. I mean, she wasn't feeling well, but even so, we need to... The yo-yo dinner, by the way, we didn't say it stands for You're on Your Own Dinner. And Lisa D'Amour wrote about it in one of her articles for the Washington Post. And it was some lady said it. She quoted somebody in the article saying it. So it is the best idea of 2020 that you just say to your family, you're on your own tonight. I don't care what you have for dinner. I'm going to have a bowl of cereal because that's me. I could have cheese and crackers and a glass of wine on a Tuesday night and be the happiest of people.
Well, this came up because my dad was stopping by and it was around dinner time. And so we decided to get taken Indian food. And my kids were like, we don't want to eat that. And I was like, that's fine. Then you can either have this or you yo-yo dinner. And they all yo-yoed and it was totally fine. And that, I think, is the only hope for us in this equation, which is for some reason, I think of myself as pretty hands off with my kids. Somebody dropped a kid off for a play date the other day. We haven't been doing play dates. It was our first play date. And I said, the kids were wearing masks, stay outside. It was a nice day in New York. They were running around the backyard. And I said to the mom, who I know, but I was like, I just want to make sure that you're clear that I don't interact with the kids for the 2 hours that they're here. I will be inside if someone gets hurt and they can come get me, but I'm not actually going to watch them. And she was like, oh yeah, that's fine. But they're 9 years old. And I just was is that okay with you? Because some people, would be like, wait, what happened? You weren't watching them? It was no, I don't watch kids. They play by themselves. But I do realize that for some reason, the homeschooling brings out in me the who is the mean teacher from Matilda? That's who I become when I'm remote learning.
Miss Trunchbull.
I am Miss Trunchbull. Whenever home learning starts, it's my Incredible Hulk moment, but I transform into Miss Trunchbull. And I'm the meanest, most demanding, crazy person ever. And this is somewhere where I'm giving myself the workload of remote learning must go perfectly. And they must turn in 7 assignments a day, class by class by class. And I got to cut it out. Why am I doing this to myself? What, are they going to fail 5th grade? I doubt it.
Yeah. I mean, I can hear our listeners' inner monologues right now. Yeah, but my kid's in 11th grade, but my kid has special needs. Yes, there are some, it's not as easy as saying we're going to do what we feel like. I mean, it's a nice idea. And for some people, it's not really an option, but nor is all of us doing 40% more. That's not long-term tenable either.
Yeah. I just think and we've said this every time we talk about the pandemic, which is If you've met one person dealing with the pandemic, you've met one person. Everybody has different horrible circumstances that are affecting them as part of trying to survive 2020. And so it's difficult to give advice that fits everybody because it's like, wait, but I. And yes, it is. There's no solution that will fit you. But the only thing that is keeping me sane are two things. Number one, everybody does more. And that I accept my role that I have to be kind of the general. And nobody likes the general, and that's okay with me. You know, like, I'd rather be fun, but I'm willing to be the general who's like, this is what needs to get done today, go. And nothing fun happens until this thing is done. And the other thing is that I have to let go a little bit around the remote learning, that like things get lost in the shuffle and we're doing the best we can.
Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking of a particular case right now where I need my son to log into his portal to fill out a form that's due Thursday because I can't log in. It's only his login that works. And, you know, it's an open program on taking up my CPU all week because I've brought it up like, you need to do this, you need to do this. Just bring me your computer and I'll show you where it is. You need to do this. And he hasn't done it. And, you know, I need to let him fail and not hand it in, I guess, except it's kind of important. But taking a step back from this stuff is really all we have.
I think that you can say it's pick your battles too, right? So I have a 5th grader. The remote learning is pretty complicated. He's got, because of the town we live in and its strangeness, we do, it's middle school, 5th grade. So he's got the like 7 classes, you know? And what ends up happening is he starts period 1 and he's very distractible. So he starts period 1 and, you know, he's half playing with his monkey. Okay, put the monkey away. I mean, he doesn't have a monkey. I'm talking about like a stuffy. He's half, you know, doodling. He loves to draw. And so then I'm like, doing it wrong. You're gotta concentrate. And I can't really let him fly completely solo because there is a possibility that like at the end of the day, he'd be like, look at this battle I drew on this piece of paper, and I would have nothing done. But me sitting right next to him and being like, click this next. Do you know the answer? Is it 42? Yes, it is. Okay, let's keep. I've literally been like sitting and just like feeding him the answers while screaming at him. That's got to stop. And so I think you've got to find your own space on the spectrum. And I think it's fair to say, hey, our priorities for tonight are, I need everyone to clean up this room for me. I need you to fill out this form for me. And like, we've had to put showering on that list because we're like feral animals around here. And every once in a while, I'm like, oh, what's that horrible smell? It's one of the family members. And okay, you can't do screens. You can't do anything else until you've had a shower. And so I think the solution is somewhere in there. Like, I do not think it makes sense because it's so stressful for him not to fill out that form. That's not really his failing. That's going to stink for you. Right. He's not really ever going to care.
They told us last night on like the back to school Zoom night, your kid needs to fill out this form by Thursday. It's like, all right, this would have been done 10 days ago if you allowed me. It's nonsense. But you just said something that I think that I hear myself saying. You said that I need to say, I need you to fill out this form for me. And it's not for me. And it's you need to fill out this form. Right. And I find myself saying all the time, will you help me get dinner ready? Will you help me set the table? It's not helping me. It's set the table. And then they give me a hard time about it. And then I turn to, that's when I get Miss Trunch Bully. It's about like, I do everything around here, and you know, that kind of thing. But I don't like it that my choices are do it myself and rage clean, or be Miss Trunch Bully about it because everybody sees that the house is messy and you've just decided to ignore it because I'll do it.
Oh, Amy, I think I have an insight for you that has just come to me.
Okay, what is it?
This, as I said, so I'm on crutches and my foot is really hurting me. Like when I put it down, I like wince in pain. It's getting better, but it has been that way. And I have found that this week, because I have an extremely visible injury, my kids are much more willing to help me, you know, which is like the story is, hey, could you grab this for me? Because they know I can't get up, because they know that like I really can't do it. And so they are much more like, we're on mom's team helping her out. And they've been like 10 times more helpful because I think they're also a little bit worried because when it happened, I was like at the hospital. It wasn't really clear what was going on. So they were worried. And like, I think they're glad I'm back. I'm fine. It's not that bad. And I think that you're right. Like, rather than like, do this for me because I'm Miss Trunchbull and I am your overlord. Like, can we find that place where we're coming from like, can you help me because I need help? Might be helpful.
Oh, you're saying so even lean into it more. Like, I need help.
Lean into it more. Like, hey, I really need help. Can you help me? I feel like kids generally are like, yes, I can. Where it's like, do this for me because you are my minion and I am Mrs. Trunchbull. That's a bad dynamic. And so I think maybe the lesson from my ankle is like, it's not just it's coming from a place of a little bit more vulnerability, you know? Like, hey, I'm real tired. I can't do this all. Can you guys pitch it and help me? It's not like they're going to be like, yes, darling mother, of course we'd like to. But I think you're right to pick up on the thing of, I need you to do this for me. And sort of changing the story to like, hey, we've got 5 things to do tonight. Let's get them done. And then everybody can do whatever they want to do. And being like the leader of that and not just being like Miss Trunchbull that's like, I've told you for 10 days to get this form done.
It's like if it's taken a million small interactions to get to this place where everybody just assumes that if there's 40% more work to do, mom's just going to do it. It's going to take small interactions to reset that as well, right? I mean, we can try like, it's going to be pretty different around here, but that's not enough to really reset it.
I think that's right. But I do think that like we have to lead that reset. That like what we've learned today is like no one else is looking around and being like, this must be really hard for mom. No. That phrase is in 0 people's heads. And so I think from a place of like, not bitterness if we can, but from a place of like, you know, sprained ankle vulnerability maybe is to say, hey team, I need a little bit more help because I'm really like down right now. Not depressed. You know, I'm not talking about like layering emotional stuff on it, but just like, hey team, I'm having trouble. I need a little help from my teammates. If you can come from that point of view, my guess is the results will be better.
Yeah. All right. I think you solved it.
Solved it. Kind of. I mean, it stinks, guys.
It stinks.
It stinks and it stinks.
Yes, the pandemic is harder on moms. I mean, that's sort of my takeaway from this. Like, come talk to us. Yes.
Yeah. So we did solve it. The answer is yes. It's a yes, and that's our solve.
But that's why we do our episodes. And that's why we have our Facebook page and our group and everybody comes and talks about it. And I feel better talking about it with you and, you know, reading what everybody's saying on our Facebook page. So thanks for doing that.
There's a lot of validation going on Facebook, guys. Come find us there, facebook.com/whatfreshhellcast and join the group.
We're also on Instagram and Pinterest at What Fresh Hellcast, and we're on Twitter at WFH Podcast. And I love my studies. As you know, there were some interesting ones today. So I'm going to put the links up in the show page right where you're listening right now or on our website, which is whatfreshhellpodcast.com.
Thanks for listening, guys. We see you out there. Stay strong.
We see you. That's right. Miss Trunchbull.
We salute all the Trunchbulls out there. And we'll talk to you next week.
So long.
This is a Monday.com ad. The same Monday.com helping people worldwide getting work done faster and better. The same Monday.com designed for every team and every industry. The same Monday.com with built-in AI, scaling your work from day one. The same Monday.com that your team will actually love using. The same Monday.com with an easy and intuitive setup. Go to Monday.com and try it for free. Yes, the same Monday.com.